Hey guys, Scott here with Quest Capsule. Today, I'm gonna make your life so much easier and give you the top 10 things to consider when booking a cabin in the Smoky Mountains, or for that matter, anywhere. Listen up because this list is for you. Let's begin. Number 10, hidden fees. Make sure you understand the terms and conditions of your rental cabin. What types of fees are you paying for? Are there any hidden fees in the terms and conditions you're not aware of? You don't want to think you got the best deal out there, only to discover later there's a hidden fee or regulation you just weren't aware of, or they try to charge you for later. Watch out for things like additional lodging taxes, cleaning fees, or even inflated processing fees after the reservation. Also, make sure you thoroughly review your cabin upon entering and notify the company right away if you see anything damaged or wrong. You definitely don't want to be charged for something you didn't do. A lot of rental agencies give you a short period of time, like 2 hours or so, to contact them after you arrive so you have time to inspect and report any issues to them you find. Number 9, cancellation policies. Don't be fooled by cancellation policies that say you can cancel within 48 hours. Now, this typically means 48 hours after you make your reservation, meaning not 48 hours before your arrival date. The way some rental places write this is deceiving, so you gotta be careful. Number 8, cancellation protection. Look very closely at companies that offer what some call reservation guarantees, cancellation protection, some call it peace of mind guarantee, or just flat out travel cancellation insurance. If their cancellation or travel insurance is through a third-party company, you can only cancel if it meets the cancellation policies of that third-party insurance company. And some of their stipulations can be pretty strict. In some cases, you must have solid proof of the reason of the cancellation. So you might have to provide them things like work excuses, doctor's notes, or even in the worst case, an obituary notice if it's a reason for canceling. You also need to verify with the cabin rental company that their cancellation policy is indeed through a third-party company, or is it handled directly through them? A lot of times when you click on the link for the cancellation policy they offer, it will take you to the third-party company that handles it, which is your cue that it will not cover any reason you might need to cancel for. So you gotta be very careful here. But to be fair, travel insurance is a great protection to have for many reasons like weather, theft, flight delays, accidents, and just unforeseeable circumstances in general. But you just gotta be mindful of their allowable reasons for canceling your reservation and what types of proof you'll need to provide them to receive a full refund. Your best bet is to find a company, if you can, that clearly states you can cancel your reservation within a reasonable amount of time before your arrival date for any reason. And most importantly, if you can, directly through them. We like to find places that allow cancellation at least 48 hours before arrival. But a lot of companies will only allow a full refund minus your cancellation protection fees up to 15 days before your arrival. Inside of that time frame, and you risk losing all or at least 50% of your vacation cabin money. And you must purchase this cancellation protection to receive the special time frame of cancellation. Otherwise, you'll typically lose all or most of the money at up to 30 days and sometimes even 60 days before your arrival. So tread very carefully. You've saved all year for this and you don't want to lose your money. Number 7, travel terrain to your cabin. Make sure you understand where at in the mountains your cabin is located. The last thing you want to realize on the day of arrival is that you're in a vehicle that can barely climb to the elevation you need to get to your rental. And you're unable to get there safely, and so what's the next thing you have to do? You have to go out, you have to rent a vehicle, a 4-wheel drive, or risk forfeiting your cabin rental, which you're not gonna be a happy camper. Number 6, travel distance to attractions. This is a good one. Don't be fooled when reading descriptions that a cabin is only 14 miles from main attractions or areas you'll frequent. Traveling in the mountains is much different than non-elevated areas. 14 miles in the mountains can take much longer due to the ascending and descending, narrow and bending roads and other road conditions that can make travel very slow and grueling on your vehicle. Number 5, mountain view, direct sunlight, or shade. This is one you might not think about as much, but if you're hoping to have a mountain view, just make sure your cabin listing says you will have one. It would be quite disappointing if you thought you would, and then you end up with a view of the back of your neighboring cabin. You're not gonna like this. If traveling in the summertime, you might want to consider the amount of sunlight that will hit the cabin. If there are no trees surrounding the cabin, it will mean a direct hit of sunlight falls on your cabin, and if there are a lot of windows like most cabins are, you're gonna have an extremely bright cabin environment during the daytime. Might not matter, but it could. Or if you're anything like me, visiting a cabin in the summer, of course, I love being near and seeing the mountains from my cabin, but in the heat of summer, say in July, I much prefer a lot of trees and shade wrapped around my cabin, especially if there's a nice deck for grilling or a jacuzzi area your family and friends might want to hang out on those hot summer days. Nice, cool, shaded area in the middle of July is a nice touch for your summer mountain trip in your cabin rental. Number 4, size and type of cabin. This is important, and there's a few things here you might not be considering. One being, are there a lot of large windows in the area you'll be sleeping that don't have blinds or curtains? Most cabins have a lot of windows. So unless you like waking up at the crack of dawn or wearing an eye mask while you sleep, the early morning sunlight will be beaming in on you first thing in the morning, and there's gonna be no way to block it due to the size of the windows. So definitely something to think about. Although it is beautiful to see the morning sun come up in the mountains, it is something to consider if you're trying to find a dream cabin and you're not a morning person. Another consideration is try to save some money with the size of your cabin if you're going with, say, 4 or more people. Just because a cabin only advertises for 1 bedroom doesn't mean it can't sleep more than 2 to 4 people. Look for cabins that have multiple pull-out couches, Murphy beds, or loft areas with additional beds. When you're searching, don't just plug in the number of rooms you need based on the amount of people you have. Kids can easily adjust and will be just fine sleeping on the pull-out couches or the extra space in the loft area. In the grand scheme of things, you can save a lot of money here by going with a 1-bedroom cabin versus 2 or more. But just make sure you can handle sharing 1 bathroom if it only comes with 1 of them. Okay, number 3, parking at the cabin. This is highly important. Okay, so you seem to be okay making it up the mountain to the cabin just fine in the vehicle, even though it's elevated. But upon arriving, you realize you're gonna have to park in a cramped area on a steep, elevated parking spot. Now this can be a real pain in the rear and will make loading and unloading your vehicle very difficult. It can also be very scary leaving your car there, so just make sure your parking brake is working good. Number 2, privacy. Is privacy and a feeling of isolation your idea of a great cabin getaway? Then you better make sure you're not butted up against another cabin well within view of the one you're investing in for the week. A lot of cabins have large open windows, and your neighboring cabin might have a first-hand look straight into your family's quality time together. So it's definitely something to consider here. If you can, check it out on Google Earth if you can find the cabin location address. Do some research to see if you can determine if it's parked too close to another cabin, or just ask the rental company if you can. And number 1, Wi-Fi. While we should be unplugging and enjoying nature and the glorious mountain environment in its full form, it's probably safe to say most people will want to have an internet connection during their cabin stay. Be sure to check to make sure your cabin has high-speed internet connection. Be wary if it says limited internet connection or no listing for it at all. This usually means it doesn't have internet, or the connection is very slow or spotty based on where the cabin is located. You can also check reviews to see what other people are saying about staying there. Usually if it doesn't have good internet, somebody's gonna be complaining about it. If you like to research your next day outing online from the comfort of your vacation cabin rental, kind of like I do, confirm your cabin indeed does have Wi-Fi or high-speed internet that actually works. Well, that's our top 10 things to consider when booking a cabin in the Smoky Mountains. I know there's plenty more things to consider, so leave your tips in the comment section below if you can think of anything more you'd like to share with others. If you like this content, please consider hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel, and ring the notification bell to receive updates on when we put out new content. Also, be sure to check out our Quest Capsule vlogs to see firsthand some of our own adventures in life that we film and document for all of our subscribers to see. Our goal is to release new episodes every Monday and Thursday when our lives make it possible. So for Smoky Mountain travel tips, new Quest Capsule adventure episodes, and more, we'll see you soon, just right around the bend.